Which means we get game 3 of this 4-game set in the American League Central showdown between the Indians and the Minnesota Twins. The teams have split the first 2 games of this series. Justin Kutcher alongside Tom Verducci. And Tom, this Indians team, they have been hot. They had won 6 in a row prior to last night's loss. And one of the hottest players in all of baseball, it's not the guy we always talk about, Francisco Lindor, it's his teammate, Jose Ramirez.
Justin, not just one of the hottest players in baseball, I believe one of the 10 best players in baseball. He's second in the major leagues in home runs and in extra base hits. Red hot, as you mentioned, 4 games in a row with an extra base hit. What I love about him, he does his damage and he does not strike out that much. That's saying something in today's game.
So he's the third baseman for the Indians, the third baseman for the Twins. It seems like Eduardo Escobar loves to face these Cleveland Indians.
Well, I don't know if it was in the script for the Twins to have Escobar hitting third, but he certainly is hitting like one, leading the team in extra base hits and home runs. And you talk about hot bats. In the last 2 nights, 3 home runs against this Cleveland staff. And the third of these home runs is going to be the longest hit by a Twins player this year. I came last night. You'll see it right here coming up. 443 feet. Now again, he is a streaky player who right now is riding not just a hot streak, but a power streak for the Minnesota Twins.
Eduardo Escobar still waiting to take the field here at Target Field, where I got to be honest with you, many people, yours truly included, did not think this game would start on time. If you looked at the forecast, really as recently as, I don't know, 2 o'clock, people would have thought, no way this game starts here on time at 3 o'clock Central Time. But we're starting, and I think pretty much everybody is happy about that. But the forecast has not looked good. Rain, it was supposed to clear up around 6, 7 o'clock. Well, guess what? It has cleared up here at 3:07 Central Time. And Lance Lynn and the Minnesota Twins have taken the field. So let's take a look at the Cleveland Indians. And the Indians in first place in the American League Central with a record of 30-26. They have won 6 of their last 7 games. They've got a well-balanced lineup, especially the top of the lineup. And this is what it looks like. 1 through 3. They've been on fire. For the month of May, it was ridiculous. Francisco Lindor, Michael Brantley, Jose Ramirez, those guys were phenomenal. They are 3 of the best hitters in baseball. Then Edwin Encarnacion, the DH in the cleanup spot. Yonder Alonso at first base bats 5th. Greg Allen in right field will bat 6th. The bottom third of the order, Jason Kipnis at 2nd. Roberto Perez will catch. And Bradley Simmer back off the DL will play center field and bat 9th. And they will face the right-hander Lance Lynn, who signed a 1-year contract in the offseason, coming over from the St. Louis Cardinals. It seems to be like he's starting to settle in here in the American League for the Minnesota Twins.
No doubt. Been much better his last 2 or 3 starts. And if you love fastballs, then this is your guy. It's a fastball festival. Lance Lynn will throw about 80%, yes, 80% fastballs. The go-to location for him is going to be up and away with that heater to right-handed hitters. And no yard work. Last 3 starts, he has not allowed a home run.
Seems like an anomaly. Throws fastballs, no home runs allowed. Yikes. Eddie Rosario in left field. Ryan Lamar will play center. Max Kepler in right for the Twins. Around the horn in the infield, Logan Morrison at first base. Brian Dozier at second. A-Ray Adrianza at shortstop. Eduardo Escobar, who we talked about at third, and behind the plate is Mitch Garver. Well, we're all set for baseball here at Target Field in Minneapolis. And Francisco Lindor, the switch-hitting shortstop, will lead things off here against Lance Lynn. And the first pitch from Lynn might come as a surprise. Fastball at 91, first strike.
Yeah, I mentioned the 80% fastballs. He'll split that up almost equally between 2-seamers and 4-seamers. The 2-seamer you saw right there down. The 4-seamer is what he likes up with 2 strikes.
Missing outside with that one. 1 ball and 1 strike. Francisco Lindor, 307, 14 home runs, 35 RBIs. He had himself a ball game a couple nights ago. Takes the pitch for a strike. 1-2. Couple home runs, couple of doubles. His second home run proved to be the game-winning home run. The 1-2 from Lynn. Fastball is outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. What do you make of the fact that here is a guy like Lance Lynn, where so many teams are going away from throwing the fastball, that he throws 80% fastballs?
You know, it's really always been his MO, even going back to college at Ole Miss and coming up through the Cardinal system. They love the sinker. I think it's sticking with what is your strength. So the 4-seamer right there. Now, once in a while, he'll mix in cutters, change up, as you see right there. That's just occasional. It's the way he's able to use a fastball in different ways, not just 2-seam and 4-seam, but spreading it around the quadrants of the strike zone. First time coming into Lindor in this sequence.
Lindor to first base. Logan Morrison will race to the bag and beat Francisco Lindor for the first out of the ball game. And time for the Ford Keys to the game.
You know the state fish here is the walleye.
I did know that.
You knew that, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna go to a walleye thing. Walleye chop is when the water starts. It's a windy day and the water gets choppy. That's a good day. Well, the Indians, they can chop you up at the top of the lineup. You mentioned the top 3. They're as good as the top 3 as anybody. And against Trevor Bauer, who loves to bounce breaking balls, no fishing allowed. I'm sorry for the Twins. You got to stay off those. Make them come into the strike zone.
I thought you might go with like a drone theme, but I wasn't sure. Trevor Bauer loves drones. First pitch to Brantley's outside.
I don't think Trevor wanted me to go there.
I saw an interview with him recently. He loves working on drones.
I like the whole walleye thing. I don't know if they sell at the park. They once sold walleye on a stick here. Very popular item.
Well, at the plate right now is Michael Brantley. You saw his numbers: 332, 9 home runs, 37 RBIs. He is one of my favorite players to watch at the plate.
I know why, because he doesn't buy into the launch angle revolution.
That's one reason. And look at the defense. You can't shift against him. As he hits one to Brian Dozier at second. Quickly 2 up, 2 down on 2 ground balls for Lance Lynn.
Well, I like your point there about not shifting. You'll see here, especially the top 3 in the Cleveland lineup, you need to defend the entire field against them. And there's so many shifts, and you flip it. We're on the home side. Minnesota, the top of their lineup, stocked with hitters who use half the field. Here's the shift on Ramirez right here. Twins are very active with their analytics and shifting defense.
Fastball's outside to Ramirez. Jose Ramirez, his numbers: 301, 18 home runs, 41 RBIs. Thought it was interesting how Tito Francona told us that what he's really improved upon this year is RBIs, situations, driving guys in.
Well, there's always a matchup I look forward to in a game. This is it for me. Because Lance Lynn, we talked about how he loves the fastball. Jose Ramirez, as good a fastball hitter as there is in the big leagues. He's right on the plate. He invites pitchers to come in. And by being on the plate, what he does is he takes that outside fastball, and for him, it seems middle of the plate. No one has more home runs off fastballs this year than Jose Ramirez. He just crushes any kind of velocity.
Ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes here against Lance Lynn. 2 outs, top of the first, no score.
And this is where you let him loose. 2 outs, nobody on. You just keyhole an area here. No reason to take. You go into home run mode right here.
Well, he was swinging away, 3-1.
Yeah, I love that. It's the right kind of swing, right kind of approach.
I mean, look at the numbers from last year to this year. It wasn't like he was having a bad year through June 1st last year. He's having a great year right now. And he works a 2-out walk. And that was a problem for Lance Lynn earlier this year, the amount of walks that he had issued. If you look at his walk totals right now entering today's game, 33 walks in 50 innings. Paul Molitor even said to us that that was his problem earlier this season.
Yeah, that one to me is a little bit respect out of Ramirez's reputation.
I agree.
We've seen Lance Lynn now miss inside with fastballs. If you're going to miss, make sure you miss it. You don't want to miss over the plate. 2 outs. That's a pretty good walk by Lance Lynn right there.
Now he misses with a pitch against Edwin Encarnacion. Encarnacion, 240, 14 home runs, 36 RBIs. Fouls it back, 1-1. Encarnacion, his last 8 games, riding an 8-game hitting streak. Look at those numbers.
Yeah, you know, as those numbers have gone up, you know what else has gone up? The temperature. He reminds me of Bernie Williams. Just hates the cold weather. Every year it would happen to Bernie.
In the air, center field, Ryan Lamar goes back first. Now he comes in to make the catch, and that'll do it here in the first. No runs on no hits, a man left on, and the Twins coming up. No score. The record 23-30 in third place right now in the American League Central. The lineup for him, Brian Dozier will lead things off, followed by Eddie Rosario, Eduardo Escobar, Logan Morrison bats cleanup, Robbie Grossman will DH and bat fifth, Max Kepler bats sixth, the bottom third of the order, Mitch Garver, Adrianta, and Ryan Lamar to face the right-hander Trevor Bauer. Trevor Bauer is really starting to come into his own, almost becoming the pitcher that many people thought he would be when he came out of UCLA. First pitch, Dozier fouls it back, out of play. The numbers on Bauer, 4-3 at 2.61 ERA. 86 strikeouts, 25 walks. And he can spin it. Like that.
That's the slider right there. He's got 2 different breaking balls. Big overhand curve that he loves to bounce, and the slider right there. Perfectly located right here.
Brian Dozier didn't think so. 0-2 is outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Dozier, his numbers 236, 8 home runs, and 21 RBIs. Shift is on for him. 3 players on the left side of the infield, and it won't matter. He'll go down swinging to open up the ball game for the Twins.
Well, he's already given you a glimpse, and certainly Brian Dozier saw it, of what he can do with the baseball in terms of spin. He's as good as there is in terms of being able to spin 2 different breaking balls. He earned his rest, got an extra day of rest coming into the start. A season, a career high, 127 pitches. Is that still allowed in his last start? And a fast start at first time through the lineup. Hitters are hitting a .132. And I believe that's a tribute to his game preparation and routine. Very studious, has a great game plan going in, very dedicated in terms of his routine pre-start. The first inning is the highest scoring inning of a baseball game, and Trevor Bauer controls the early innings as well as anybody. Only Jacob deGrom, Justin Verlander better that first time around than Trevor Bauer.
3 balls and no strikes to Rosario. Why do you think that is? Why is the first inning the highest scoring inning?
Well, when you think about it, it's the one time a manager can actually set his lineup up for the ideal optimum run scoring environment. Starting with your best order.
4-pitch walk here issued to Rosario. The defense behind Bauer. In the outfield from left to right, Michael Brantley, Bradley Zimmer, and Greg Allen around the horn in the infield. You got Yonder Alonso at first, Jason Kipnis at second, Francisco Lindor at short, Jose Ramirez at third, and behind the plate is Roberto Perez. And that'll bring up Eduardo Escobar, seeing if he can pick up where he left off last night.
He's got a reputation for sitting on pitches, especially breaking balls.
First pitch swinging in the air to left field, driving Brantley back in front of the track will make the catch. And bluffing the tag is Rosario. 2 away here in the first. Logan Morrison has gotten off to a slow start with Minnesota. 194, 6 home runs, and 19 RBIs. With Bauer out, he's seen time at first base. And he chases the high heater.
The shift again on for one of these Minnesota Twins hitters. The Indians play their second baseman here, Kipnis, deeper than just about anybody in baseball when it comes to shift. Need a strong arm to play that deep. And Kipnis does have a strong arm.
Don't forget, last year in the playoffs, they played Kipnis out in center field.
That's right. He's a good athlete, played that position in college. You want the data? There it is. That's why they shift on him.
That's pulled foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And I know some people don't like the shift. Even some pitchers, when it turns out the ball goes the other way. But this is the one circumstance I think the shift has really changed the game. Left-handed pull hitters who do not have speed, where that second baseman could go into that, I call it a rover position there. You defend so much of the field, it's hard to get a ground ball through for a hit, even up the middle.
Breaking ball in the dirt, gets away from Perez, and down to second base goes Rosario. A wild pitch charge here to Trevor Bauer.
Get used to it. As I said, he loves to throw that overhand curve in the dirt. It is challenging for a catcher. He throws only Zach Godley of the Diamondbacks, who has a very similar curveball, actually throws more pitches in the dirt. So when you are competing against Trevor Bauer as base runners, you always have to be aware, especially with 2 strikes, of balls in the dirt. Secondary leads and reads off the curveball in the dirt, extremely important. Now they've got a runner in scoring position. Big 90 feet right there.
Another breaking ball. This time it's missed by Logan Morrison. Second strikeout of the inning for Bauer. We're through 1. No score, Indians and Twins. Yonder Alonso, Greg Allen, Jason Kipnis due up here in the second to face Lance Lynn. And the fastball misses low and outside for ball 1 to Yonder Alonso. Alonso 247, 11 home runs and 33 RBIs. Now Yonder Alonso is wearing number 17. Many of you may say, wait, wasn't that Terry Francona's number? It was, and Francona switched to number 77 so that Alonso could have 17.
Well, I get that, giving it up for an active player and the manager. I mean, usually we never see Francona's number anyway. But why did Francona go to 77?
Because he didn't want to change his shower shoes, so he could just draw 7 as opposed to a little thing over 1.
The Sharpie mark is the person's number.
Yeah.
It's boy, he really liked those shower shoes, that particular pair.
You know, when they're worn in, you just don't want to have to change them. Alonso in the air, left center field. Ryan Lamar is over, calls for it to make the catch for the first out.
You know, so far this is like when you go to the batting cages as a kid, you get to walk into that last cage, all fastballs, right? Drop another quarter in and Lance Lynn will give you a lot more fastballs. It's all he's thrown so far. Done a nice job with the two-seamer, keeping that down and away, and once in a while showing something inside.
Greg Allen 286, a home run, 3 RBIs. It's like a younger version of Bartolo Colon.
It reminds me when Jorge Posada would be, there you go, the highest percentage of fastballs. Lance Lynn, only Bartolo is ahead of him. Reminds me of Posada calling Mariano Rivera cutters. I mean, everybody knew Mariano was going to throw cutters. There were sometimes Posada would just wave his hands like, just come on. You know what I'm calling. Everybody knows what you're throwing. Bring it on.
Two balls and a strike here, the count to Allen.
He's done a nice job taking advantage lately of an opportunity to play while Bradley Zimmer was on the DL. He convinced him his game has to be on the ground and line drives. Keep it out of the air.
Shows bunt, pulls it back, takes the pitch for a ball, 3-1.
And I like what he's done with this stroke. He's flattened it out a little bit, and it's exactly why he's been on a streak in the last week.
And look at that, no shift.
You see Escobar having to move up at third base, conceding some range.
And now it's outside. Second walk of the game issued by Lance Lynn. A 1-out walk here to Greg Allen, who's got speed.
Yeah, that's not a good walk. That's happened sometimes when he throws that two-seamer and gets under the baseball. He'll lose it out to arm side. That's just a matter of mechanics right there. He's got a low release point, but in that case he got underneath the baseball. Whenever you see those sinkers wind up high and away to lefty, you got to get back with that release point out front. Much better.
Yep, starts chasing Kipnis off with a strike. And I thought it was also interesting how Molitor said he likes when Lynn is working with the velo down, using that two-seamer as opposed to the four-seamer.
Yeah, you saw the movement right there. That's why he hasn't allowed home runs in 3 starts. Movement down and late.
The numbers on Kipnis: 195, 3 home runs, 22 RBIs. Ground ball back up the middle. That'll be a base hit. Allen, aggressive base running, is going to go for third, and he's going to be in there safely. Man, he can motor. Did not hesitate at all turning at second base.
Love the aggressiveness. This is the base runner's call all the way. The player's in front of him. There is no need for the third base coach right here. And right before he gets to the bag, right about right there, he realizes, I'm going. Cut the bag so well, Justin. I think that's why he's in there so easily. Besides just his speed, just the mechanics of his path to third base were excellent.
So now runners on the corners, 1 out for Cleveland here in the top of the 2nd inning for Roberto Perez, who's hitting just 145 with a home run and 4 RBIs. Two-seamer missing for ball 1.
Yeah, this is especially where Lance Lynn is trying to get that late movement low to get the rollover ground ball. Wouldn't be surprised if they start Kipnis in a sequence here to stay out of a double play.
There's a strike.
He bluffed the start at first base that time. Better count now. 1-0 count. More of a hitter's count. Give your hitter a chance to let loose.
30 strikeouts on the year for Perez. Down low, 2 balls and a strike.
It's a good count to start the runner right here. And Lynn, a good pitcher to do that against. Why? Because he's around the plate. Hitter forced to swing. You want a pitcher who's got good control.
Runner's not going, and the pitch is on the outside corner. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, now what you don't want to do is run yourself into a strike him out, throw him out, inning-ending double play.
Exactly, and I think this is where in the past Lynn has gone to that 4-seamer up and away to right-handers. He's not shown him anything up yet.
In the dirt, scooped out by Garver. 3-2. On the year, Perez is just 2 for 15 with runners in scoring position. Right now, Cleveland would just take a sacrifice fly.
And I would definitely start Kipnis at first base here.
There he goes. Strikeout. Throw down to second. Kipnis stops. The throw comes home. It's a low throw. Allen's going to step on the plate and be safe. Heads up play by Jason Kipnis to stop, realizing he was going to be out and allow Allen to come in.
It's a great point. It's a great heads up play because it's not typically a straight steal. 3-2. You're running, yes, but you want to make sure the pitcher goes home. So you have a little bit of a delayed start. This is a bad jump, and he knows it. He knows he's a dead duck. They're not counting on the swing and miss. That's what they get. And for him to put on the brakes right there, and Allen's speed and great break at third base gets the run in. Dozier just hurried that throw home. Don't forget to touch home.
It's a double steal. Both Kipnis and Allen get credit for a steal. And you even mentioned it. Don't forget to steal home. The home plate umpire, Vic Carapaza, he did not make a signal out or safe until Allen went back and stepped on the plate.
And that's the proper procedure. There was a game the other day in Los Angeles where Michael Franco, the Phillies, did not touch home. The umpire actually signaled safe. And that was not proper procedure.
Bradley Zimmer behind in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. I still give a ton of credit on that play to Jason Kipnis, though.
That's a veteran play right there, because obviously if he continues on to the bag, Minnesota's off the field. That's 3 outs.
Breaking ball misses for ball 1.
Well executed play on Greg Allen's part as well. With the jump he got, seeing the throw through to second base, forced Dozier to hurry. Better execution by Cleveland than Minnesota on that one.
One, two, struck him out. So back-to-back strikeouts for Lynn, but a double steal leads to a run. 1-0 Cleveland. further so you can. And by Hankook Tire. Chase down your passion, never halfway. The double steal. Jason Kipnis, Greg Allen leads to the first run of the ball game. Heads up base running by both guys. Robbie Grossman will lead things off here for the Twins against Trevor Bauer. Tom, you mentioned it, and we'll show the replay in a minute, but it was pretty good execution on both parties, just better executed by Cleveland.
Yeah, you mentioned the smarts of Kipnis to stop, but watch Greg Allen here. First of all, look at third baseman's way off the bag so he can get a bigger lead. As soon as that throw clears the airspace of the pitcher's mound, he's off. The timing of the break and then his speed, it's a great read on the part of Greg Allen.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Grossman, the DH.
And again, I think, Justin, that his break forced Dozier to sort of hurry to throw. I think Dozier did the right thing by coming up and meeting the throw from Garver. The throw was just a little offline out of haste.
Breaking ball popped up in the air to right field. Allen, 1 away. Now Max Kepler will step to the plate. This looks like it might be misting just a bit. Sliced foul out of play.
What do you got for barometric pressure? That's the key.
I can't tell you the exit velocity of it, I'm sorry.
Watching the steal at home, I can't help but think about the great Rodney Carew and all those steals at home, especially when Billy Martin was managing the Minnesota Twins. Encouraged Carew to use that as a weapon.
Well, in case you're wondering, the last steal of home by the Indians was Francisco Lindor on June 28th of 2016, also part of a double steal.
Wow, 2 years. By the way, today's the anniversary of the retirement of Rod Carew, 1986. 2 other Hall of Famers retired on this day. 2 pretty good left-handed power hitters.
Was one Griffey?
Ken Griffey Jr. and Babe Ruth.
Wow, that's some pretty good company. Good job by Kepler to get a piece of that breaking ball. Stays 1 ball and 2 strikes. How about this, though? The Twins so far, 5 of the 6 batters to come up have swung at the first pitch against Trevor Bauer.
To me, that's respect out of his 2-strike breaking stuff, which you saw right there. That's a pitch. It's a good curveball right there from Bauer. In his world, he'd rather bounce that pitch, though. So the reason you attack first pitch is you're going to see nasty stuff with 2 strikes. See Bauer, he's got plenty of weapons. Shook fastball, shook breaking ball, shook slider. He wants to go back to that hook.
He goes back to it and gets his 3rd strikeout of the game. First one looking. 2 outs here in the 2nd.
That's the slider. Look at the tilt on that. Most sliders you'll see some horizontal tilt as well as the vertical. That's all vertical right there. Held inside corner, held it. Yeah, you shake your head about that pitch. That's perfectly executed.
First pitch swinging once again.
Yeah,
it's Mitch Garver.
I don't blame him. That's well located fastball, but I think with Bauer, it's the right approach. You have to attack fastballs early.
Well, it's funny. It's not as if you're going to say, well, you know what? Let's make Bauer throw a lot of pitches and we'll get to the bullpen. He likes to throw a lot of pitches. He threw 127 his last start. He threw 122 a different start. He actually wants to throw a lot of pitches. He wants to work late in games.
Yeah, he's a different cat. And he holds his stuff very well, too.
Missing outside, 1-2.
Slider. You mentioned 2 games of 122 pitchers or more this year. The rest of Major League Baseball in 1,700 starts has thrown 1. That's a different breed.
And what do you know, but he spins a ball for a strikeout. He's got 4 Ks through 2, and his team leads 1-0. Top of the Twins, Justin Kutcher alongside Tom Verducci here on FS1. Top of the order, Francisco Lindor, Michael Brantley, Jose Ramirez against Lance Lynn. The first pitch in there to Lindor for strike 1. Lindor grounded out to first base his first time up. Putting together another all-star campaign. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
A rare changeup from Lance Lynn. Doubled up on it. It's quite the contrast to watch Bauer spinning the baseball and Lance Lynn back spinning it with all his fastballs.
I'm going to put you on the spot right now, since you are the guy who wrote the story about those great young shortstops in the 90s. Ground ball to second base. Nice hop for Dozier. 1 away. Which crop is better? That crop from the 90s when you had Jeter, A-Rod, Nomar, or the crop
Tejada came along.
Tejada came along, or the crop now with Lindor, Correa, Seager, Bogarts.
Yeah, I think it's this one, and I think I'll tell you why. It's deeper. Wow. You know, we'll see how their careers play out, but the impact they've made already, especially in terms of power.
Well, how much of that is because the game has changed with the power?
Big part of it, but I also think, you know, you think back then a big shortstop was an anomaly, and now you see Correa and Seager and some of these guys playing shortstop. We don't blink twice anymore, and we don't think about, hey, he's going to have to move, he's got to go to third base, outfield eventually. No, we're seeing much more athleticism with height.
And by the way, a name I did not even mention in that list, Machado, who's playing shortstop this year.
And very well. I mean, that's just not a case of filling in a position. He's playing gold glove caliber shortstop.
3 balls, no strikes here to Brantley. That's pretty incredible to think that you just said this crop is better.
Yeah, and again, you know, time is the ultimate arbitrator in these things, but off to their starts, it's deeper.
A 4-pitch walk to Brantley. That's the 3rd walk of the game issued by Lynn.
Well, I talked about how I was looking forward to this matchup between Lynn and Ramirez. Let me show you why. The ability to turn on fastballs. Again, watch how close he is on the plate, that some of these pitches are going to be away that he pulls. That's because he's comfortable on the ball in. Pitchers have to respect him in. He's so quick that he turns the outside into inside.
First pitch ripped foul down the first baseline. That is just the 2nd batter of the game to swing at the first pitch for the Indians against Lance Lynn. Complete opposite approach for Cleveland than it is for Minnesota.
How about this company here? I mean, who saw this coming, right? When he was coming up to the big leagues with Cleveland, they knew they had themselves a good hitter, not this kind of a power hitter. This is what happens when you have good bat to ball skills and then gain experience.
I think it's fun to look at that list and see Ramirez, not exactly a giant. Lindor, not a giant. Mookie Betts, not a giant. And all these guys have legitimate pop.
Yeah, right now,
We've got some barking, yeah.
He's hearing it on the Minnesota dugout. These pitches are off the plate. We've talked about the movement of Lance Lynn, and it's good movement today, but it's diving just a little bit outside of the zone, especially off the outside corner to left-handers.
1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Ramirez.
Many more 2-seamers today than 4-seamers. Haven't really seen that good live 4-seamer up from Lance Lynn. He's become a sinker ball pitcher today. He did this in his last start. More 2-seamers than 4-seamers. There's another one. Cleveland's doing a very good job staying off those pitches, making sure they get Lynn in the strike zone.
With the count 2 balls and 1 strike, Eduardo Escobar now moves over to the right side of the infield. More balls than strikes for Lance Lynn so far in this game. And a ground ball to the right side. Dozier goes to Eduardo Escobar, who is covering at second. They'll get the force out. That'll be a 4-5 force out. Ramirez reaches on the fielder's choice. Well, tonight we've got 3 big games on Fox. Most of the country will see the Cubs take on the Mets. For others, it's the Red Sox and the Astros, or the Dodgers and the Rockies. It all starts at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Fox. Check local listings for the game in your area. I still think we need to somehow come up with a new scoring system with the new shifts.
You mean when that third baseman goes onto the right side of the field, it goes in the books as a 5-3 sometimes?
Or that's a 4-5.
So yeah,
fielder's choice right there. And if you go back years from now or months from now, you're thinking, wait, they went from second base to third base? Check swing, he went around.
And it has changed defensive metrics. The example I remember is when Brett Lowry was playing third base for the Toronto Blue Jays, and they would switch him over to play the rover position in a shift on turf in Toronto. And his defensive metrics at third base wound up being way higher than other third basemen.
Encarnacion, a swing and a miss. 1-2. Two away here in the third. Runner on first. 1-0. Indians lead the Twins. There goes Ramirez, and the pitch is fouled back.
Yeah, that's the four-seamer been waiting for from Lance Lynn. I said that's his favorite go-to pitch. 2 strikes to right-handed hitters. He's just got great run through the zone. This is exactly where he wants to throw this pitch. Keep it away, up. And you see Encarnacion just underneath that. Has typically been traditionally over his career a swing and miss pitch.
Runner not going. This 1-2 is down low at 96. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He is still, Lance Lynn, trying to get locked in here with his control.
55 pitches already here through 2 2/3. On a day where it's 62 degrees at game time, he's working up a sweat. Ramirez goes again, and Encarnacion fouls it off again.
Maybe he just needs to elevate that pitch a little more. And you can see with that swing, Edwin is always looking for a ball middle in. He wants to always hit the ball out in front. Able to fight that one off, get it up a little higher, you might get the swing and miss.
7th pitch of the at-bat coming up. Goes to a slider, and it's 3 balls and 2 strikes, so you know Ramirez will be off with this pitch. And will Logan Morrison move behind the runner here? So far, no movement yet from Logan Morrison. The 3-2 gets by Garver. And stopping at second will be Ramirez. Second walk of the inning. Issued by Lynn, the 4th of the game already.
Yeah, I'll split the credit here between the Indians hitters just being very disciplined and Lance Lynn just throwing too many non-competitive pitches. Non-competitive pitches are pitches that are a ball straight out of the hand that don't tempt the hitter to take a hack at it.
Yonder Alonso flew out to center field his first time up. Good numbers this year with runners in scoring position. Coming up here with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. And again, that fastball is down low. Easy to identify by Alonso to lay off it. You almost wonder if he throws another ball, is it time for a mound visit?
Well, Lance Lynn is a veteran pitcher who should be able to self-correct. But again,
that got him. That's a hit by pitch.
That's another pitch again. It's a ball straight out of his hand. Now, if you're going to be around the edges of the plate, you want it to be a strike ball where it starts in the zone, works out. These are balls. And that's why we'll get a call to the bullpen right here. This pitch just, they hit him on the guard. No, just barely grazed him. You know, sometimes, Justin, if a pitcher is struggling with fastball command, a catcher will go to something off speed to find a different rhythm, find a different release point, and then maybe you get locked in. With Lance Lynn, he's so fastball dependent. You know, the cutter is really not going to get him back on point. It's not a pitch he has enough confidence in, especially in this situation right here.
Well, now the bases are loaded. 2 outs for Greg Allen, who walked and scored the opening run so far. And there's a pitch at 95 in there for a strike, and a cheer by the crowd here at Target Field. Strike 2. Missed his target, but still got the strike. Can Lynn get out of this without a run coming across? Bases loaded, 2 outs. Fouled back. Watch out. That'll make the dugout scatter. of the Indians. That's when you're happy you've got that fence up there. Bradley Zimmer's like, I just got off the DL. Come on.
Well, he has stayed inside on Allen today. See if he goes farther in right here.
Check swing. He did not go as he tries something off speed.
Yeah, that was a rare curveball from Lance Lynn. You might see a handful in the course of a game. I don't believe he goes back to the fastball in on Allen.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, bases loaded. Ramirez reached on a fielder's choice, a walk to Encarnacion, a hit by pitch for Alonso. The 1-2. Fouled away. We'll do it again.
He's trying to get that ball in, Justin. It's twice in this sequence. It's leaked back over the plate.
You never like that pitch breakdown when you see you throwing more balls than strikes, whether it's for an at-bat or for an inning. 27 pitches so far this inning. 1-2 is down low, evens the count at 2-2.
That side of the plate, into lefties, away from righties. Been a little bit elusive in terms of command. That's where he wants to go.
Down low, 3 balls and 2 strikes, and the merry-go-round will start on this pitch.
Justin, this is one of those times, as you mentioned, bases loaded, 3-2, and especially as squirrely as his command has been, you have to aim for middle of the plate. I'd go 2-seamer and let the run take care of itself, maybe work off the barrel, but you've got to throw a strike.
He does. Allen fouls it off. And every time we saw Encarnacion battle, foul off some pitches, and now Allen has fought off some pitches when he fell behind in the count. Every time you see it with the lack of command for Lance Lynn, you tend to think the advantage sways in favor of the hitter.
No doubt. Usually that advantage sways because you see more pitches, you can time it better. In this case, it's forcing Lynn to throw another pitch in the zone.
Exactly.
And he's had trouble doing that.
Three-two in the air to left field. Rosario, he is there, and Lance Lynn will escape. They leave the bases loaded. Lynn's not happy though. 31 pitches thrown in the inning by Lance Lynn, but no runs to show for it for the Indians. And that's a long layoff for Trevor Bauer. So how does he respond facing 8-9-1 in the order for the Twins? And Bauer's had his good stuff working so far. 4 strikeouts through 2 innings. He'll face A-Ray Adrianza, Ryan Lamar, and Brian Dozier. First pitch misses for ball 1. Do you take a strike if you're Adrianza just to see if Bauer can get back on?
Well, you might hear 2-0. I would have said normally no. I mean, that was a good take first pitch because it was a pitcher's pitch. I wouldn't necessarily rule it out. Again, with Bauer, I think you have to keyhole and no strike counts.
Now he's ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. I'm just trying to think after that long layoff, you don't get a run. You know, oftentimes you hear long layoffs. Yeah, but we got 3-4 runs. You know, you'll deal with that. Long layoff, no runs. You're like, man, I want to be back out there pitching. I got my good stuff. There's your strike.
Yeah, I noticed that Trevor got out there very quickly to the mound. Remember, in the old days, you got a limit on warm-up pitches.
Right.
Now it's by time. So if you get that early, as he did, you can buy yourself a couple extra throws.
Well, a leadoff walk here to Bauer. Excuse me, to Adrianza. Second walk of the game issued by Bauer.
Yeah, that's a bad walk. I mean, whether it was the length of that half inning, lack of concentration, that's just a bad walk. Bottom of the order's up, leadoff batter.
So now it's Ryan Lamar to face Trevor Bauer with the leadoff man on at first.
One of the rare players in baseball, Ryan Lamar, who throws left-handed and bats right-handed.
So I'm going to ask, because I'm guessing you know the answer. How many of them are there?
3. Joey Rickard, the Orioles, Guillermo Heredia, the Mariners. That's it. In the history of baseball, there's been 1 Hall of Fame position player.
Ricky Henderson.
There you go. One of a kind in more ways than one. Ricky Henderson. There's actually been 4 pitchers in the Hall of Fame who threw left-handed and bats right-handed, which is not a good combination.
No, because you're throwing shoulder.
Yes,
exposed.
you're exposing.
But there are a lot of right-handed pitchers who bat lefty.
Right. So can you name me 1 Hall of Fame pitcher who threw lefty and batted right-handed?
Well, I can name you 1 current who does it. Madison Bumgarner.
Yes, not.
Going down to second base here is Adrianza.
Yeah, just a return throw.
The return throw, yeah, from Yonder Alonso to Bauer. Sloppy play here by the Indians.
Nothing wrong here until, whoops, threw him a cutter. Boy, you can go a whole season without seeing this. Well, Lindor is thinking he left the bag as he popped
back
up,
foot.
but he's on the bag. But they're still going to take a look at it. And I know there's people out there who are saying, you know, that's not what replay was designed to do. If you leave the bag for a split second and the tag is on you, you get called out. It's not the spirit of the rule.
The people out there, they're sitting next to you.
Yeah, but you know what? You can't have replay. Once we adopted replay, the game of baseball, it becomes a literal game. You must be on the base. There's no more neighborhood plays. There's no margin of errors. It's either you're on the base or you're not. It's that simple. Now, you may think it's unfair, but it's the only way you can apply replay.
I just think there are going to be unintended consequences from that. And I think they have to fix those situations.
There's nothing you can do to change this rule. You can't have, well, if you're off the base by a millimeter, it's okay. If you're off by a half an inch, it's not.
See, I think his back foot is making contact with the base.
Yeah, I don't think it made continual contact with the base. That's what Lindor is arguing. not an oil painting of a slide right there, and that's why we have some doubt at all here.
And you and I have talked about this. What about going back to old bags?
I'm all for that. I really believe we need that for safety's sake. We've seen too many stars of the game, including Bryce Harper and Mike Trout, lose a month and a half because they banged up their thumbs and fingers on bases. Lindor being dismissive of the Minnesota argument with a smile on his face.
Does he ever not have a smile?
Mr. Smile. He lives up to that nickname. But he was on this right away. I mean, he mentioned to Terry Francona right away that he thinks there was that split second where Adrianza left the bag. I'm not sure I saw it in replay, Justin, where it was clear enough to overturn it.
Well, let's see what the ruling is. There we go. All right, the smile's gone. The call is confirmed. 4th error of the year on Yonder Alonso. It'll be an E3.
There's just not enough there to overturn it. I said you can watch baseball for a whole year and not see that play. And that reminds me of a great story about Paul Molitor, the manager of the Twins. Talk about those things rarely happening. There was a play when he was playing relief for Milwaukee where the return throw from the catcher to the pitcher was mishandled. And he bolted to home and got the base. There's so many times a runner will just put his head down because it's executed cleanly 99.9% of the time.
And that's why I'm not a fan of the intentional walk, just saying go right to first base. There's that one time where there's a wild pitch and something could happen. Good breaking ball, 1-2.
We have seen that happen. I saw that happen in postseason play with the Nationals and the Giants at AT&T Park. Intentional walk thrown to the backstop. Let's see if Bauer bounces that curveball right here.
Getting a piece of it is Lamar.
He tried to bounce it. Ryan Lamar went all Vlad Guerrero on that. He got it just before it bounced.
You ever seen a better bad ball hitter than Vlad?
No. I'm hesitating because Jose Altuve is pretty good.
Adrianza on at second, reached on the walk to lead off the inning, went to second on the error by Yonder Alonso. Another 1-2, missing outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
As you're seeing right here, Bauer loves sliders, curveballs, 2 strikes to right-handers. And he has not veered off that game plan here against Lamar. Let's see if he sticks with another one.
He does. And he gets a strikeout number 5 of the game for Trevor Bauer.
To me, his breaking ball command is as good as most pitchers' fastball commands. Couldn't get Lamar to chase the slider, so what does he do? He throws it on the black. I mean, that's nothing you can do as a hitter. Typically, that slider is going to run. We talked about the horizontal tilt. Not much horizontal tilt, more vertical there. Stayed in that tunnel on the black.
1 away now for Brian Dozier, struck out his first time up. Runner in scoring position here for the Twins, trying to even up this game at 1. He takes a pitch in the dirt. One ball, no strikes.
Well, you know, Dozier is going to be very aggressive right here. Runner in scoring position. This is a guy with the most home runs since this ballpark opened, and yet none this year. He is hunting a fastball right here.
He gets a breaking ball. It's 1 ball and 1 strike.
And Bauer knows it.
It's funny, I was even thinking, why not hunt a curveball?
It's very hard to do. You're essentially, it takes a lot of courage, essentially, because you're going to get beat on a fastball.
Yeah, but it's 1 ball, no strikes. Give up 1 pitch. Take 1 shot.
Very hard for a hitter's ego to do that. It really is. People love to hit off the fastball. That is your base default mechanism. And it's hard to veer off of that, especially with a runner at second base.
Dozier in the air to right field. Going over for a look is Allen. He looks up. It's off the wall. Coming in to score is Adrianza. And all the way to third base is Dozier. That's where he'll stop as that ball came all the way halfway through back towards the infield. An RBI triple for Brian Dozier, his 2nd triple of the year. And Dozier just went opposite field, which you don't see very often.
No, he did that last night with a double. Was only his 6th opposite field hit all year. This is a cutter, up and away. Brian Dozier is as good a high fastball hitter as anybody in baseball. He's not going to miss that pitch. A little bit surprising, as you said, to see him go the other way with it. Allen gets caught too close to the wall, gives up another 90 feet, so Dozier's on third instead of second.
First hit of the game for the Twins, and now Eddie Rosario comes up, a chance to give Minnesota the lead. And just think about the top half of the inning. Bases loaded, and the Indians could not get a run across. That long layoff, and now Bauer's given up 1. Rosario launches 1 in the air to right. Allen is back. This is gone. 2-run home run, Eddie Rosario. Of the year for Rosario, and it's a 2-run Minnesota lead.
Looked like another cutter, Justin. We talked about how look how they've been hunting fastballs early in the count. This one's off the plate, but Rosario commits so early to it. He's able to not just hit it hard, but to keep it fair. No hook on this ball.
That was pass interference by the Indians fan. Eduardo Escobar takes the first pitch for a strike. Big time answer by the Twins here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Breaking ball 0-2.
It's coincidental, but nonetheless amazing. We talked about Bauer controlling lineups first time through at 132. As soon as it turned over the 2nd time, we get a triple and a home run for Minnesota.
Called strike 3 on the inside corner with a fastball. 6th strikeout of the game for Bauer.
Yeah, Escobar rightly so, shaking his head. This pitch is unhittable. Probably off the plate. It's a 2-seam fastball that he's running back, but let's go back to the home run by Rosario. Again, we talked about them sitting first pitch. Exit velo is 101. Boy, that was up there a long time. You won't see too many home runs at 42 degrees. That's presented by StatCast, powered by AWS. 42 degrees.
Broken bat, flare, and there's Lindor to make the catch, but 3 runs in the inning, and the Twins now lead 3-1. Twins the 3-1 lead. And now it's Jason Kipnis leading off against Lance Lynn. And let's see if Lance Lynn can kind of keep the momentum going for the Twins. He has struggled with his command. 2 walks, a hit batter in the third, 31 pitches in that inning, but he left the bases loaded. And now he's ahead in the count, 0-2 to Kipnis.
You know, if you watch all the home runs hit on a particular day, mostly all of them will be pitcher's mistakes in the zone. Watch the way he pulls his hands in and opens up that front hip. That ball is off the plate. Look how far inside this is. This is one case where a home run was hit. You have to give the credit to the hitter. That's not a mistake by Trevor Bauer.
In the dirt, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And a lot of times, Justin, when you see a hitter get out front, open up that front side on that pitch in, everybody will go, wow, and the ball hit really far, but foul. So he did a great job hitting it hard, keeping it fair. Hats off to Rosario.
1-2, broken back, ground ball to second. There's Dozier for the first out. Well, it all starts here for future baseball stars. The 2018 Major League Baseball Draft coverage begins Monday. That's Monday night on MLB Network and MLB.com. 1 away. Going back to that home run, my question to you is the way he pulled his hands, opened up his legs on that. Is that one where he's looking for that pitch, going up, searching for it?
I'd say more area. Yeah, that you're sitting on cutter there, but looking in.
It's a fouled off Mitch Garver.
Yeah, you've got that runner on third and less than 2 outs. You're looking for something to drive to the air, in the air to the outfield. As a hitter, you look at where's my strength to do that. For Rosario, it's the ball in.
One ball, 1 strike. Lynn misses with that one. 75 pitches for Lance Lynn right now. Lynn would love an economical 4th inning right here. Gets the call in the outside corner. That's a strike. He misses his location as his catcher Mitch Garver is set up towards the inside part of the plate.
Garver does a nice job here. You see how far he's set up in. Making sure he catches that ball out in front to give the umpire a good look at it. Fastball away.
Foul back. And I give credit to the home plate umpire, Vic Carapazza, for still calling that pitch a strike as a nice play is made by the fan. Because a lot of times umpires, they're looking for where the catcher is set up, and if the catcher has to reach back, they'll say not a strike, even though it's in the strike zone. That ball was clearly in the strike zone. Fisted foul, stays 1-2.
It's a great job, as you mentioned, by Carapazza calling the plate and not the presentation of the pitch,
right,
or the intention of the pitch. Carapazza, you can see him wearing the number 19. He used to belong to his father-in-law, Richie Garcia. Remember Rich Garcia?
I do, yeah.
He actually switched numbers to get that number 19.
Breaking ball, check swing. Did he go? He did, says Jerry Lane at first base. 2 away. Roberto Perez cannot believe it. 3rd strikeout of the game.
Again, a rare breaking ball. Watch the barrel of the bat.
I don't think he did.
It's borderline. Hey, well, he did. You see this? Well, if you watch the foul line here, that's what an umpire looks at. The base umpires are stationed on the foul line. They will use the chalk of the foul line as a guide. And if the barrel of the bat passes that foul line, they will call a swing. Now, there's nothing in the rule book that actually defines what is a swing. But the protocols for umpires, that's what they use as a guideline. They're looking right down the line. And if the barrel passes the airspace above the foul line, they will call a swing. So you know, you hear some people talk about, did he break his wrist? Did the barrel go in front of the plate? No, that has nothing to do with what the umpires are looking at.
No balls and 2 strikes. The count here to Zimmer. Lynn trying to work that 1-2-3 inning. He does. Back-to-back strikeouts to end it. He gets that economical 4th inning. It's 3-1 Twins. Minnesota leading Cleveland. Robbie Grossman, Max Kepler, Mitch Garver against Trevor Bauer. Gave up those 3 runs in the bottom half of the 3rd after a leadoff walk. And the first pitch is a strike to Grossman. Flew out to right field his first time up. And Tom Verducci, don't look now, but is that sun trying to peek through?
Love it.
In the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. So you were asking me about Hall of Fame players.
Yeah, you know, who throw left-handed.
Through lefty.
And bat right-handed. We've been getting a flood of telephone calls because we didn't finish off our question.
Yeah, and so we said Ricky Henderson,
Right.
which was one of my 3 favorite players of all time.
The only positional Hall of Famer to bat right, throw left.
Okay. I'm going to throw out some names that I'm pretty sure are correct.
4 pitchers in the Hall of Fame.
Carl Hubble.
You got one of the tougher ones. Congrats.
Sandy Koufax.
There's 2. You're halfway home.
Randy Johnson.
There's 3. Look at you. Oh, Google's a wonderful thing.
Google. I beg to differ. Down the right field line for Grossman. Takes the wide turn. He's going for second. Here comes the throw, sliding in safely. A leadoff double for Robbie Grossman. 9th double of the year for Grossman. DHing in today's game as Miguel Sano gets the day off.
And another nice job here reacting to the ball in. This one at 96.
All 3 of the hits for the Twins have gone for extra bases. A double, a triple, and a home run. And now Max Kepler hitting with the sun shining down. Good 12-6 breaking ball. How about Rube Waddell?
No. That's a good guess. No, actually, you're right.
Okay.
Rube Waddell. So I shortchanged you. You got 4 of them, right? 4
Yeah.
pitchers and Ricky. There's 1 more.
Epirixi.
Oh my!
Throw back down to second.
You have a very quick.
You know, it's
here,
not just you who's got
very quick internet connection.
You know, sometimes Verducci, you're the one who's always surprising me. Every now and then, I have to be able to surprise you.
Well, you certainly surprised me by getting it right.
And there are other players who have thrown lefty and batted righty. A swing and a miss here by Kepler. I mean, Brian Hunter played for the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah. How about Ryan Ludwig?
Brian Ludwig. Yep.
How about Cody Ross? Remember him with the Giants?
Cody Ross.
Big postseasons that he had. Cleon Jones, 1969 Mets, caught the last out.
I just wish all of you could have seen Verducci's face when I named all those players.
When he pulled out Epirixi, I almost had a coronary.
Ground ball right side. This is what they call a productive outs. As Kepler's retired, down to third goes Grossman, and let's check in back in the studio with Mike Hill. Mike, thank you very much. A walk-off home run there for Colton Wong and the St. Louis Cardinals. By the way, got to give a little shout out to Larry Lancaster. He loves Hall of Fame pitchers who throw lefty and bat righty.
Well, admit it. Before you went all Google on me.
There was no Google involved.
You thought
there was no Google involved.
You thought Epirixi was like a medical condition, like
sorry?
high blood pressure or something. Epirixi.
I've got medication for that.
You had no idea.
The infield is drawn in here with Garver at the plate. Ground ball. They're going on contact. Here comes a throw home, and out at the plate is Grossman. A good play once again by Jose Ramirez. 2 away.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with the contact play here. You're at the bottom of the order. You're up 2. Force them to make a play. This turned out not to be such a difficult play for Ramirez, but I like running the bases aggressively here. Didn't work out, but I like the thought. And I'll go back to something that how this series began on Thursday. Paul Molitor gathered his team out on the field for the first game of this 4-game series and talked about being better prepared and especially executing better on the baselines and situational hitting, just getting back to better fundamental baseball. So this is a team now that he wants to be more engaged, running the bases and pushing the envelope a little bit.
Avery Andrianza walked, scored the first run of the game for the Twins. Breaking ball. And I want to go back. Jose Ramirez makes that play at third base right there. And I agree with you. I'm all in favor of going on contact right there. But speaking with Tito Francona, people forget that the Indians actually signed Juan Uribe a couple years ago to start the year at third base. They brought this kid, Jose Ramirez, up to play left field, play some third base, play some second base. He was moving all over the place. And he actually told us today he believes that Jose Ramirez could be a Gold Glove second baseman if he were playing there every day. But instead, he's playing third base, and he's playing a really good third base. And while that looked routine, that's not an easy play.
No, I agree, and I think the fact that he doesn't have to move around has helped his offensive game. I mean, I said at the top, Justin, you're looking at one of the top 10 players in baseball today.
And Francona agreed with you in a second.
Yeah, I have a feeling he would probably shorten that, maybe top 5. He's his manager. He gets to see him every day.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here. Bottom half of the 4th inning. And that'll do it. Another strikeout here for Bauer. That's the 7th, but it's 3-1 through 4 Minnesota. further so you can. And by Progressive Home Insurance. Getting a quote is easier than ever. Francisco Lindor, the guy they call Frankie, top of the 5th, will lead things off against Lynn, who settled down in the 4th inning. Can he carry it through here in the 5th in this treacherous top of the order? And the first pitch is outside for ball 1. And you know, Tom, we said it at the very beginning of this broadcast when we went through the order, and I'm sitting here trying to think as we're doing the game. Lindor goes the opposite way, a leadoff single. Is there a better 1, 2, 3 on any team in all of baseball? Top of the order, 1, 2, 3.
Hey, Houston's pretty good. I'd probably go Houston. Springer, Correa and Altuve. Yeah. I think, again, we've talked about this earlier, working through these top 3 with Cleveland, you'll notice they have to be defended straight up. And you just saw that with Lindor right there. Taking a fastball the other way, you're down 2 runs. He knows he's leading off the inning. He doesn't play it too big. Takes it to left field. Michael Brantley, professional hitter, flat string, never struck out 80 times in the season.
Watch out.
So for me, it's the fact that these top 3 put the ball in play. Yeah, since the last 5 weeks, they've just been on an incredible run, and their ability to, control the barrel and make contact. I think there's not really a safe place for a pitcher to go, where there's a 2-strike swing and miss in there.
And this may sound blasphemous. I think you could make a case that Jose Ramirez is the best hitter on this team.
It's tough to argue. Again, because he's got the ability to make contact with damage. Lindor is becoming much more of a fly ball hitter. You'll see some infield pop-ups in his game, but I'm not sure that Ramirez has a weakness offensively, a place where a pitcher can get him out.
Shot the other way, foul. Stays 0-2 to Michael Brantley. Twins have Taylor Rogers, the lefty, up in the bullpen. Lance Lynn approaching 90 pitches.
You're seeing Brantley work some of his magic here. Just fouling off pitches, getting to another pitch.
So I'm gonna throw this out there. How often is it Springer, Altuve, Correa, or vice versa, or is it Bregman thrown in there?
That's true. Bregman's a pretty good player too. Now, this group's right up there.
They're up there, and I think people might sleep on them because it's not the big names, with the exception of Lindor. Lindor is the big name.
Yeah, and I think the development of both Lindor and Ramirez as home run hitters really pushes them to the top of that list.
Brantley to right field. Back is Kepler. Kepler on the warning track will make the catch, and back to first base goes Lindor. Well, this summer, the World Cup is coming to Fox and FS1. Every match live in over 300 hours of coverage. The world's biggest sporting event begins June 14th on Fox and FS1. June 14th, going to be a huge day for Fox and FS1. The World Cup, the U.S. Open from Shinnecock Hills. What a great day it will be.
Yeah, this is a pressure point now for Lance Lynn. He doesn't get over 100 pitches much, so you got pitch number 90 coming up here to a great fastball hitter. This is the true test, and we talk a lot about how this game pivots on third time around a lineup, and this is why pitchers don't get pushed too much in terms of pitch counts, so you're getting close to E on the dashboard against a really good hitter. And so far he's missed badly with 2.
Tried spinning one there on the 1-0, 2 balls and no strikes.
But you've got a lefty up in the bullpen. Encarnacion on deck. So Lynn has the next 2 hitters, this one and the next hitter.
Pop foul, back at a play. 2 balls and 1 strike to Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, he missed his pitch right there. Talked about how well he hits the fastball in. That was elevated, but that's a fastball and a fastball count in the zone that Jose Ramirez missed. That doesn't happen too often.
And you talk about Lance Lynn, how he has these next 2 hitters because he's the righty. And honestly, I like a pitcher trying to work through a jam or so. I don't want to see, oh, well, you know what? I mean, here he is in the 5th inning. Get through 5 innings. Do it.
Well, that's nice to say, but you have to look at what you're watching here. And to me, I don't like the way he's throwing some of these pitches to Ramirez. I think fatigue is starting to become a factor here.
Big swing and a miss, 3-2.
A rare chase by the Cleveland hitters today.
Really labored through those first 3 innings, did Lynn. Had a very good 4th inning.
He's thrown a lot of pitches out of the stretch today.
Runner goes on 3-2. It's foul.
Yeah, that's pretty automatic. When you've got Ramirez at the plate, 3-2 counts, you'll send the runner 100% of the time. Because the most important quotient in deciding whether to send or not is, can the hitter make contact against the pitcher? And I'm sure Terry Francona has full confidence in Jose Ramirez that he can make contact.
And Lindor has good speed, is 6 for 8 in stolen bases on the season. There he goes again. The 3-2 is down low, ball 4. Another walk issued by Lance Lynn. So that will bring up Edwin Encarnacion. Encarnacion last night got a hanger by Barrios, and he knew what to do with it. Let the parrot fly.
He likes hitting in this ballpark. 14 career home runs here. As you mentioned, that was a hanger. Can Lance Lynn execute to his last batter? I believe it's his last batter.
I agree with you. It's 5 walks in the game for Lynn. He's walked Encarnacion once, and he starts him off with a strike here. Encarnacion also flew out to center field. Can he get a sinker for a double play to get out of the inning?
That was one of the better cutters he's thrown today. He's been staying away from Encarnacion throughout the game.
Stays away there. 1 ball and 1 strike.
That's so typical. You throw a really good cutter, and the next one you want to throw it even better. At some point in this at bat, he will throw him a 4-seamer up and away.
Ground ball, third base. Escobar to second for 1. Over to first. The 5-4-3 double play. And Lance Lynn gets through 5 with a 3-1 lead. ending double play off the bat of Edwin Encarnacion. And the reason why he was fired up was because that means he got through 5, qualifies for the win. He had been laboring really throughout the entire game. 5 innings, 2 hits, but 5 walks, 4 strikeouts, 1 run. It was earned.
I mean, you talk about grinding through a game. When you walk more than you punch out, you're facing a team that's been red hot offensively, the Cleveland Indians. When you get the game to the 6th with a lead, I'm really impressed with the way he threw the last 2 innings, especially that last AB against Encarnacion. Really executed well when, again, he's at the end of the tank. The tank's running empty at that point.
Ryan Lamar, 1 ball, 2 strikes to him as he fouls off a breaking ball. Stays alive at 1-2.
That's one of the few curveballs Bauer's left up in the zone, especially with 2 strikes.
And you had said you were impressed with Lynn. I mean, he walked 4, hit a batter, yet he only allowed 2 hits.
Yeah, and again, we're talking about a red hot lineup coming in. And for a guy who, to me, used to be much more of a fly ball pitcher with 4 seamers up, really a different look the last couple of starts with 2 seamers down, and Lamar gets frozen. I don't see too many 2-strike fastballs from Bauer. Saw one there.
8th strikeout of the game for Trevor Bauer. We'll watch every out-of-market regular season game live or on demand at home, in the office, or on the go with MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details.
So, Justin, that was a good example of sitting on breaking ball. And you're just done when the fastball comes right down the middle.
Well, I had said sit on breaking ball on 1-0.
That's true. It's different than a 2-strike count, but Bauer's a guy who's going to throw 80% breaking balls with 2 strikes. That's what happens on the other 20%. Caught looking.
Brian Dozier had the RBI triple his last time up off the wall in right field. Came around to score on the 2-run homer by Eddie Rosario.
For Trevor Bauer's last start, he threw 50 curveballs. Not 15, there's another one there. 5-0. It's the most in 143 career games. But again, for him, he can command the curveball like a fastball.
Oh, there's a nasty breaking ball. Back-to-back strikeouts. He's got 9 now through 4 2/3. Today's Flipping the Switch is sponsored by Boost Mobile. Eddie Rosario in that 3rd inning. As you mentioned, not a bad pitch by Bauer. Better hitting by Rosario. A 2-run home run into the right field seats. And that is the difference in the game right now. Rosario can't lay off that one for the first strike. Trevor Bauer, the way he throws his curveball and the confidence that he has in it reminds me a little bit of Lance McCullers Jr. McCullers, he has told me I've got more confidence throwing my curveball for a strike than I do throwing my fastball for a strike.
Which is crazy.
I know. I said, dude, you throw 97, 98.
Right.
He goes, I know. I don't know where it's going.
The craziest part of all is that he never throws a curveball practicing in any of his side sessions or even his warm-ups between innings.
It's amazing.
The first curveball he'll throw will be in the game, and he won't throw another one in between starts. I've never heard of anything like it.
And for McCullers, he just says, he goes, I know if I want to throw a curveball for a strike, I'll do it like this. If I want to throw it for a ball, a swing and miss, I'll throw it like this. It's unbelievable. And of course, he ended last year's ALCS with what, 24 straight curveballs?
24 consecutive.
Bauer against Rosario.
It's been a good matchup. Rosario's got the better of him in the course of his career. 379 coming in.
Tries for a backdoor breaking ball. Bauer thought he had his third strikeout of the inning. Instead, it's a walk to Rosario.
Yeah.
Second time he has walked Rosario. Third walk of the game issued by Bauer.
Trevor wasn't happy with the call. This is borderline. He's trying to backdoor it again. There's not much horizontal movement here. It's more vertical. Right on the borderline. Let's see, Perez just trying to pull in slightly. You know, 3-2 curveball, that's not unusual from Trevor Bauer. The thing I wanted to point out about the curveball of Bauer, Justin, is the way he throws the ball. He's worked very hard on making sure when he throws it, the ball does not come up out of his hand. So a hitter has no tip-off between the fastball and the curveball. Now, typically, when someone throws a really good curveball, especially with the kind of 12-6 break Trevor has, the ball leaves his hand going up and then comes down. And Trevor's made sure he keeps that on the same plane almost as soon as it comes out of his hand. So for a hitter to see it coming, it's much harder against Trevor Bauer than other curveballs.
Timeout taken at the plate by Escobar. Still looking for his first hit.
And I know how much you're into spin rates, and almost as much as Trevor Bauer, who went out and bought his own TrackMan system, high-speed cameras, so he could learn those exact type of tricks.
Oh, I thought it was for which kind of driver he wanted to hit.
They do have that as well, as you know. But with a super slow high-speed camera, you can really see how much the ball does pop out of your hand, how different it is from your fastball. And Trevor's worked very hard at making them look similar straight out of the hand.
The 1-1. Big swing and a miss by Escobar.
I've talked to Anthony Rizzo about it. Cubs obviously played against Trevor in the 16 World Series. They've lost to him twice this year. And he mentioned that there's a lot of deception. As a hitter, tough to read Trevor Bauer.
Check on the runner at first. Rosario's back in. I think some people forget with Trevor Bauer. I mean, coming out of college, he was a stud. Out of UCLA, a workhorse, the 1-2 combination, he and Garrett Cole. Runner goes, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Strikeout number 10 for Bauer. Strikes out the side around a walk. It's 3-1 at the end of 5. Top of the 6th, 3-1. Twins leading the Indians. And yes, you do see Lance Lynn back out there to start the 6th inning to face Yonder Alonso. And his first pitch fastball is high and outside. This was his last pitch prior to that one to end the inning. That 5-4-3 double play. And look at the emotion by Lance Lynn. He's fired up. And many thought that was his last pitch of the game. But here he is coming out to start the 6th inning. And Paul Molitor right now is saying, you know what, let's see what we can get from Lance Lynn. Every out that he gets from here on out is gravy. And if a runner gets on, they've got double barrel action right now in the bullpen. That's a 2-run lead right now for the Minnesota Twins.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. I don't like the way he's been extended, especially to get through the last inning. He's only had 2 games at 100 pitches this year, 100 and no more than 105. So how much more are you going to get out of him? It's set up perfectly for a left-handed hitter. With Alonso up, Kipnis in the hole. I think he's playing with fire, but he saw something last inning out of Lynn.
Tries the backdoor breaking ball, 2-2. You saw the bullpen. It's Hildenberger the righty, Rogers the lefty.
Paul Molitor's essentially forestalling going to the bullpen as long as he can.
And he gets Alonso striking out, so Paul Molitor gets another out of Lance Lynn.
And you notice he gets him really mostly with breaking balls, cutters, and the curveball right here. Haven't seen a ton of it today from Lance Lynn, but third time around, he's giving Alonso a different look.
Well, all of a sudden now, the sun has come out. Shadows are now creeping in. It's always said that when the shadows start creeping in, curveballs are harder to hit. Do you start spinning the ball more now? All of a sudden? Here at pitch number 105, starting Greg Allen off with a strike.
Yeah,
this
another cutter.
Next pitch will be his season high. Misses outside, 1 ball and 1 strike.
He's a different pitcher right now. Curveballs and cutters for a guy who's typically been 80% fastballs.
I know this might sound weird. If it was a 1-run game, I think he's done after 5.
I think there probably is some truth to that. You have a little bit room for error here, and he probably is batter by batter. I'm not sure he'll throw another pitch out of the stretch today. Back to the breaking ball again.
Good job by Allen to foul it back.
And I will tell you, this is a nice game plan that Lynn and Garber have arrived at here. We've talked all throughout this game about the trouble he's had commanding the fastball. And right now, plan B is working well for these two.
And so often in today's game, as soon as a pitcher hits 100 pitches, you take him out. Allen gets into one, to right field. Back is Kepler, reaches up to make the catch. Great play by Max Kepler out there in right field. His teammates enjoy it. The fans here at Target Field appreciate that. And Lance Lynn, he says thank you very much.
This ball was scalded. Kepler picks up Lance Lynn, mislocation with the fastball. And I've got a saying here in the outfield, their defense is so good, especially in Buxton center field. Nothing falls but raindrops.
I enjoy watching Max Kepler play right field.
Really, when you've got Rosario, Buxton, and Kepler, you've got 3 center fielders patrolling the outfield.
1 ball, no strikes to Kipnis. Kipnis singled back in the second. He stole second and then held up to allow Allen to steal home to score the only run of the game for the Indians. And again, not that fastball right there by Lance Lynn.
It's amazing. Started him with the curveball, went to the cutter. He has won a full 180, throwing 80% cutters and curveballs.
pulled foul, 1-2. So here's Lance Lynn. Now a chance to get through 6 innings. As Eduardo Escobar will make his way over to the right side of the infield. 3 players on the right side. Adrianza, the only player on the left side. And you can see those shadows.
This has become a huge inning for Paul Molitor, for his pitcher to go out here and try to get another 3rd out.
A 1 hopper to Adrianza. Long throw across, makes the play. A 1-2-3 inning by Lance Lynn. People thought he was done. He goes 6. By him. He has now gone 6 innings or more in each of his last 3 starts. Paul Molitor said he is starting to settle in, starting to feel more and more comfortable. And this was big. People thought he was done after 5. Works a 1-2-3 6th inning, throws 113 pitches, the most by a Twins starter this year. Buys Paul Molitor's bullpen an extra inning. And now Logan Morrison leads things off here in the 6th against Trevor Bauer. And again, with a 2-run lead, you've got that cushion. But also, you build that confidence now for Lance Lynn going forward.
Yeah, Justin, he was so impressive the last 2 innings when you think about how much he was scuffling early in the game in the 2nd and 3rd innings. For him not just to give 6 strong, but to really change the way he was pitching, go to cutters and curveballs. And as you said, forestall the bullpen carousel. That's huge. Getting those last 5 outs, the double play in the 5th and the 3 outs in the 6th.
And give a lot of credit to Mitch Garver, the catcher, to change up the game plan, to go to those cutters, not just the fastballs.
Yeah, and as much as we talked about the lack of command on the fastball with Lance Lynn, one thing he didn't do was miss in the zone. He was missing out of the zone for sure.
Logan Morrison takes the breaking ball back up the middle for a base hit. A leadoff single here for Morrison. Tiger Woods is back, and he's ready to take on the greatest golfers in the world at the 118th U.S. Open. Live coverage begins June 14th from Shinnecock Hills on Fox FS1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
Just to finish my thought on Lance there, this is now 4 straight starts. He has not given up a home run. You know, in today's game, I know he walked a few, more than a few, but that is paramount importance. To defend the home run.
And to do it against this lineup,
as hot as they've been, impressive. That's what I mean by not making mistakes in the zone.
Robbie Grossman. Breaking ball, ground ball to second. Kipnis boots it. Everybody's safe. Kipnis was thinking turning 2. Instead, he gets nobody.
That's one of those tweener balls, and Morrison did a nice job not running into a tag. Kipnis with just a momentary bit of doubt. And then once he fumbles it, he has to go to first base. He loses the out at second right here. And maybe he didn't have the out at first either. The ball did jump up on him a little bit.
So first and second, nobody out now for Kepler, who made that fantastic catch out there in right field. He swings over the breaking ball for a strike.
I said last start, Trevor threw 50 curveballs. He's going to get up into that neighborhood again. So many left-handed hitters in the lineup. That's his go-to pitch against lefties.
Foul back, 0-2. So here is the catch. Brought to you by StatCast, powered by AWS. Covered 52 feet. But we don't have the pressure of the impact against the wall.
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Last night was his bobblehead night here at Target Fields. He was doing his best not to bobble his head as he crashed into the wall. 0-2's in the dirt, 1-2.
Perez is so good on those balls. We said at the top, Trevor's got 2 strikes on you. He's going to throw the curveball and he's going to bounce it. And with 2 runners on base, you're trusting your catcher is going to put his body in front of that. Perez is so good at it.
Talk about productive outs. This is one of those opportunities right now where you want to move these runners over somehow, some way. He does just that and more. Kepler to center field. Here comes Morrison. He will score. Over to third base goes Grossman. RBI single, 4-1 Twins lead.
Well, he'd thrown him 3 straight curveballs and thought he'd sneak a fastball by Kepler. And Kepler is all over it. Watch how flat this swing is right here. Kepler's one of these young hitters who has not bought into the launch angle revolution. He has not changed his stroke at all. Served him well right there to get on top of that heater.
Carl Willis comes out to speak with Bauer with runners on the corners and still nobody out. Mitch Garver is the hitter due up. You've got Grossman at third, Kepler at first. Garver reached on a fielder's choice his last time up, when Grossman was going on contact, and it was a 5-2 fielder's choice. Garver is also struck out. 10 strikeouts in the game for Trevor Bauer. Any thought to a suicide or a safety squeeze here?
It's very tough to defend the safety squeeze first and third. It's not a bad play. Right here with the infield bag, I think he lets Garver swing away. The Twins will trade 2 outs for a run, but I think Trevor's got to be in strikeout mode here. Already being down 3.
In the dirt, good stop by Perez.
Yeah, we talked about how with Bauer you have to be ready with those secondary leads on the ball in the dirt. Kepler didn't quite read that one, didn't get far enough away from Perez. But in strikeout mode means more and more breaking balls from Bauer. So as a runner, have to anticipate the ball's going to be in the dirt.
Kepler leading off at first base after his RBI single. Fastball in there for a strike at 96. Now, speaking with Terry Francona before the game, he said in moments like these, Bauer actually gets tougher and he gets stronger. We just saw 96 on that fastball from Trevor Bauer.
Runners in scoring position, 177 this year allowed by Bauer. Kepler got him. We'll see what happens here.
Breaking ball misses.
That's a great take by Garber right there.
The Indians have double barrel action. Just signed Oliver Perez, the lefty, the righty Dan Otero. Oliver Perez, the veteran. Back in the day was a starter, now the lefty specialist. Two-one, poke towards first. Alonso comes home, and they've got Grossman hung up in the rundown, and they will tag him out there out of the baseline. So it's going to be 3-2. And down to second base goes Kepler.
Yeah, second time they've gotten caught on the contact play. Was trying to get in the rundown long enough to get the runner on first all the way to third. There's no tag. He played, tagged him out, but he's out of the baseline. 3 feet once you've established your baseline. He was beyond that. One thing you want to do if you're caught in a rundown like that is hit the ground away from where the ball is in the fielder's hand. Make him reach down and across his body. It takes more time to recover to throw somebody out, but good chance for Kepler to get the third.
So now Adrianza at the plate with runners on first and second. Check swing. Did he go? He did not. Says Jordan Baker at third base. 1 ball, no strikes. It's turned out to be a beautiful day here in Minnesota. Minneapolis, the sun is out. The fans who showed up on time for this game, they're getting a treat. Their team leads 4-1. We saw Lance Lynn go 6 innings. Two balls and no strikes. They can come to the ballpark. They can go to the parlor after the game, get a great hamburger, get told about the Devil Lakes Satans from North Dakota. That's the name of the mascot of the Devil Lakes High School team.
The Satans.
The Satans. Used to be. They changed their name.
It's probably a good idea.
Pulled foul into the dugout of the Twins. 2-1.
Although we do have the New Jersey Devils.
I personally am offended that they changed the name. I would have thought I would have played for the Satans. That'd be awesome. My high school's nickname was the Hilltoppers. Not nearly as cool.
It's not a bad name. Hilltoppers.
2 balls, 1 strike here to Adrianza.
So what was the mascot?
A goat.
Okay. That's a scary mascot. Ooh, the goat. We're facing the goat this week. The kitten was not available.
Adrianza swings over that one. 2-2. What was your high school mascot?
We were the Pony Pirates.
Okay, yeah, thanks.
Not the Pirates. We were the Pony Pirates. We're in the same campus as Seton Hall University. Just in case you confuse the high school with the university.
Right, of course. 2 balls, 2 strikes here to Adrianza. And Adrianza goes down. Strikeout number 11 on the game for Trevor Bauer.
Well, I want to say about 7 or 8 of those have been on the curveball. Again, watch it come out of his hand where it's not going to pop up. see that ball? He's just great of the trail on the ball there. It never got above the strike zone. It started in the strike zone and fell out of it. Some pitchers will throw that curveball started out of the strike zone and drop it in. It'll be rare if you see one of those type of curveballs from Trevor Bauer if it starts out of the zone and drops in. Starts it in, drops it out. Tremendous command of that pitch.
Bauer has now struck out at least 10 batters in 3 of his last 4 starts. Hangs one to Lamar, singles to center. They're going to wave around the run of the throw, comes home, cut off, and coming in to score is Kepler to make it 5-1 Minnesota. A 2-out RBI single by Ryan Lamar.
No sooner did I say that than that's exactly what he did. The rare curveball that he hung. He hung one earlier in this game to Lamar. Lamar fouled it off. Didn't miss this one. I say it's rare because you'll see the way he throws it. It starts out of the zone and drops in. Bang!
And that will be the final pitch that Trevor Bauer throws on this Saturday afternoon. He struck out 11 batters but gave up 5 runs as we have a pitching change here in the 6th inning. Second, and the new pitcher is Dan Otero, the right-hander, to face the top of the order in Brian Dozier as he comes in to relieve Trevor Bauer, who struck out 11 but gave up. He tied a season high with 5 runs allowed, and Otero throws a strike for the first pitch to Dozier. Otero's numbers: 20 2/3 innings, the ERA 6.97. with 16 strikeouts and 2 walks. And the bullpen, which has been such a strength of the Indians for the last few years, has become, Tom, it's safe to say, but a weakness.
Well, there's no doubt about that. Of course, the health of Andrew Miller has a lot to do with it. There you go.
Look at that.
Bullpen and ERA. Who thought that would be the case this deep into the season? But
if you did, you would have won a lot of money in Vegas.
You know, but Otero is a guy, a sinker changeup guy. The ball's going to be in play against him.
Dozier, broken bat, flare, fair ball down the line. 1 run scores. They're going to hold up Lamar at third base. RBI double for Dozier. 6-1 Twins.
And to me, Justin, this is what the Indians bullpen is missing. It's missing a power right-handed arm, fastball slider guy who can get the swing and miss. There's a sinker in. Nice job by Dozier, as you mentioned, broke his bat. But generally against Otero, you're not going to get the swing and miss. Hopefully for the Indians, you get the ball on the ground. You know, with Nick Goody on the DL, he's a guy who gave them swing and miss stuff with the slider. They're missing that element, and every other bullpen has it.
Well, that is it for Otero. So Oliver Perez will make his Indians debut here, trailing 6-1.
4 pitching changes, 1 pitch apart. One guy do a pitch.
Looking on. He's on the hook right now for 6 runs, which is a season high. Oliver Perez making his Indians debut, the 8th team that Oliver Perez has now pitched for. And his first pitch goes back to the backstop. Coming in to score is Lamar, and it's now 7-1 Minnesota. Not the way that Oliver Perez wanted to start his Cleveland Indians career.
I wonder if he got crossed up on this. Perez to Perez connection not made.
It is a pass ball against Roberto Perez.
Yeah, new pitcher, first time catching him. He just whiffed on that one. Fastball in.
Eddie Rosario to second base. Jason Kipnis will finally retire the Twins, but not before they head to the 7th, leading 7-1. 7-1 Minnesota. Eddie Rosario had the 2-run home run to give the Twins the lead in the 3rd inning. Lance Lynn, a season high 113 pitches. That's a season high for a Twin starter. Went 6 innings, just 2 hits. Trevor Bauer struck out 11, but on the hook for 7 runs, just 3 earned. As Roberto Perez will step in against the new pitcher. The new pitcher is Trevor Hildenberger. Hildenberger starts off Perez with a strike. Hildenberger, 25 games, a 2.89 ERA, 22 strikeouts, and 6 walks. Good pitch there, 0-2.
There's the slow slider right there. Sinker slider mostly against righties, but he handles lefties well because he has a very good changeup.
One ball and 2 strikes to Perez, who has struck out twice in this game. And I know it might seem trivial, but that last inning that Lance Lynn pitched, to get out there and go and work through 6 innings is so big. First of all, the offense responded. You have a much bigger cushion. Now you lead by 6. But you're worried about the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. That's a big difference. Slider misses, 2 balls and 2 strikes for that bullpen to have to work through.
I totally agree with you. The game's, we know relief pitching is more and more important. They pitch more and more innings, but the longer you can forestall going to that pen on a daily basis, remember there's a cumulative effect to going to your bullpen the 6th inning every day. Now that's a big get for Lance Lynn to go out there, pushed at a season high in terms of workload, pitch counts, and not just get him another inning, but do it efficiently.
And now if you are the bullpen, if you are a Trevor Hildenberger, you've got a 6-run lead. You've got to throw strikes. He throws one there, ground ball to 3rd. Escobar charging, makes a nice play, gets the out. 1 away, and time now for a game break. Let's check in with Mike Hill. All right, Mike, thank you very much. And Duhar's been great. Labor Torres has been phenomenal for the Yankees. The 2 young kids. As Bradley Zimmer takes the pitch, slowing outside for ball 1.
You know, Justin, earlier I talked about how Paul Molitor had a team meeting before the first game of this series. Talked about Twins needing to be better at the smaller things, including base running, and he mentioned how important those things can be at the end of a game. Twins have been walked off 8 times this year, and I know that gets all the headlines, and next day that's what everybody's writing about. But how you put yourself in a position to lose by 1 sometimes is created earlier in the game by missed opportunities, you know, not being aggressive on the bases, not hitting with runners in scoring position. I'll tell you, these last 2 nights, I've seen a lot better baseball in Minnesota Twins. Their batter's box offense in terms of controlling the strike zone, situational hitting.
Ground ball through that shift. One of those times where the shift went against the pitcher as Bradley Zimmer was able to beat it.
And actually, Molitor's meeting the next day was followed up by a players only meeting called by Brian Dozier. You don't think this series is important to the Minnesota Twins? I know it's only June, but you're going up against the first place team. You can't let them get too much distance in front of you. As you mentioned, this is one time the shift is going to work against you. But remember this, shifts are not designed against weakly hit balls. It's designed to take away hard hit balls for hits. You sign up for giving up hits like that to take away those balls that are roped to the pull side.
Pitch is outside to Francisco Lindor, who singled his last time up. Well, you had mentioned this earlier, but this series is important for the Twins for different reasons. But one of the biggest reasons, the Indians entered this game 5.5 games in front of the Twins in the American League Central. And the Indians haven't taken off. If you think about last year, everybody was saying, when are the Indians going to take off? When are they going to take off? Well, they finally took off and won 22 in a row, and the division was done. And people were saying, what's wrong with the American League Central this year? I mean, under 500, was in the lead at one point. But you said to me, you can't depend on the other teams to do the job for you. You've got to do your own job if you're the Twins.
But listen, being realistic, I think the wild card's not coming out of the Central. And for some of these rebuilding teams, Chicago, Kansas City, Detroit, there's a lot of wins in there. So if you're Minnesota, you're going head-to-head with Cleveland. That's where you got to make up some ground. You can't rely on the other teams to do damage against the Indians. The Indians are 14-6 against the Central this year. It's not going to change all that much over the course of the year. So head-to-head becomes extremely important for Minnesota against Cleveland.
Fouled away, 2 balls and 2 strikes. And there are some people I've heard talk about they should do some stuff with realignment and whatnot because of a division like the Central this year being down, but it's not the norm. You don't see a division down like this all the time.
No, you know how cyclical baseball is. You're certainly not going to react to a one-year trend. But I do think with Cleveland starting pitching, I'm not saying they can run off 22 in a row again. That's obviously an American League record. We might not ever see that again. But in terms of getting hot, we've seen the Indians sustain hot. They can do that.
Foul back, stays 2-2. Here it is, just June 2nd. So still early. It's not even officially summer yet. But I think most people would agree that the Yankees and the Red Sox, one team's going to win the East, one team's going to be a wild card team. The Astros, as Lindor goes down swinging for out number 2. The Astros are going to be in there. Who do you think will be the other wild card team?
I think it's a good race. I think Seattle, even with Cano down with the PED suspension, has found actually a lot of energy and playing well lately. The Angels, with the boost Ohtani has given them, I think they're a competitive team in that wild card mix. Not sure if Toronto can hang in there. They're one of those teams I'm looking at as we get to July, whether it's that time to decide, are you in or are you out? I think may have to decide they're out. Let's see what happens between now and then.
Brantley to right center field off the end of the bat. There's Kepler coming over to make the catch, and that'll do it. It's stretch time here in Minneapolis. 7-1 Twins. here today in Minneapolis. Ha!
Some people thought this game wasn't going to start on time. And we've got blue sky.
Here at Target Field, Eduardo Escobar swings and misses at the first pitch from Oliver Perez.
By the way, did you know that today was Margaritaville Day at Target Field?
I just learned that actually during the 7th inning stretch.
Played some Jimmy Buffett.
Did you know I was supposed to see Jimmy Buffett in concert in Charlotte, but it was canceled because it was so cold?
Canceled on account of weather? You couldn't wear your flip-flops, therefore no concert?
Nope. No flip-flops, nothing. 0-2, he went around. There's a strikeout for Perez. The 2018 Camping World MLB All-Star ballot is now open and exclusively online. You can vote for your favorite players at MLB.com/vote. Catch all the excitement of the 89th MLB All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 17th live on Fox and ESPN Radio. And maybe if you make it, you go to the game, wear those shirts.
Yeah, we didn't get the memo.
I would have worn one.
Day. I'm laughing because we had the Twins and the Indians in Puerto Rico. And we had that great tribute to the Pina Colada, which originated in San Juan, right?
Oh, yes.
The Pina Colada song.
I think we played it through an entire inning.
He did. And now we get Margaritaville.
So you're saying we should have margaritas up here now?
It's like we're on tour here. I mean, first of all, once you write the Pina Colada song, nobody can write another song about a Pina Colada. And the same thing with Margaritaville. Who is going to write another song about a margarita?
So let me ask this question. The next game we have is going to be like Captain Jack? 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count here to Logan Morrison. Singled his last time up. Came right to score in that 6th inning. I love that motion by Oliver Perez. Doesn't fool Logan Morrison, though. Able to hang in there. Takes a wide turn. And wisely decides to go back to first base. Greg Allen got that ball in quickly through a seed to Francisco Lindor.
Yeah, trying to create some deception to the left-handed hitter. And Morrison was having none of it. Stays on the breaking ball. Morrison show him his number. And better judgment by Morrison.
And the first pitch, fastball is a strike to the switch hitting Robbie Grossman.
See a lot of looks from Oli Perez.
You think about when he was a starter, he was nasty. He had some good years.
Well, I know when he was a free agent, and he was young, he got to the big leagues early. He became a free agent with the Mets. Look at the glove now. I was watching his glove when he takes the sign from the catcher. It's almost like a magician who's showing you his hat. Nothing in my hat. The pitcher I know who shows the inside of his glove to the hitter as he takes the sign. Right there, his magic worked against Grossman.
Second strikeout of the inning.
A lot of unusual mannerisms out there with Oli Perez. It's almost like when your grandma gave you an old wool sweater for a birthday present. You put it on because that was a present, but it was so itchy. Oli Perez always looks like, you know, something's going on. He's not comfortable.
So does it mean that I had an awesome grandmother that she never gave me that wool sweater?
Yeah.
Bubba was the best.
There's the glove. See, nothing in my hat, nothing in my glove. Where's the baseball? It's a quick delivery right there, slide step. But yeah, you mentioned that, you know, he was at one point really highly regarded starting pitcher as a free agent with the Mets. He was 26 years old, 27 as a free agent. And Scott Boras, his agent, made a case for Oli Perez looking at his strikeout rate at such a young age, and he compared it to Sandy Koufax. Similar strikeout rates at a young age. Oliver Perez Sandy Koufax.
That's the second Koufax mention we've gotten in this broadcast here today. I think one is valid and the other one is.
No, it's like chocolate cake. You can never have too much Koufax.
I agree with that. But it's amazing what Scott Boras can do.
Yes, he can. And the Mets signed Ollie to a 3-year deal. I think it was good money back in the day. Didn't work out so well.
Ryan Presley in the pen for the Twins. That get by the catcher Perez, and down to second base goes Morrison.
I mean, this could be another pass ball because Roberto just didn't get all the way down on this breaking ball. Again, you mentioned the light. It's not easy to hit or catch. Also, you're catching Ollie Perez for the first time.
Still waiting for the official scoring. It's going to be a wild pitch. Doesn't matter. He strikes out the side around the single by Morrison. We go to the 8th here in Minneapolis. 7-1 Twins. The world's #1 bourbon, and by Charles Schwab. Own your tomorrow. It's turned out to be a beautiful afternoon here at Target Field in Minneapolis. 7-1. Twins lead the Indians as we go to the top of the 8th inning. New pitcher into the game for Minnesota. It's the right-hander Ryan Presley. Presley, good numbers on the season. A 2.22 ERA in 28 and a third innings, 39 strikeouts to 11 walks. Facing Jose Ramirez, starts him off 97 for strike one. Jose Ramirez looking for his first hit, has walked a couple times, reached on the fielder's choice. And he's behind in the count, 0-2.
Ryan Presley, you're getting a look there just with 2 pitches at the quality of his stuff. Outstanding. You see the great strikeout numbers. Not just high velocity, but high spin, especially on his breaking ball. There it was right there. You know, back in the day, Justin, the scouts used to say that it's got life on the ball. Now they say, what's his spin rate? And traditionally, you know, spin would tell you a lot about the way a ball reacts late in the zone with life, but really spin can give you a clue as well, and Presley's got it.
Bouncer foul, but couldn't you also say, like somebody who says, you know, they've got almost like a rising fastball, or they've got a, you know, heavy ball. Doesn't the spin rate just validate what you're seeing?
I think so. I think where it helps sometimes is identifying the quality of somebody's pitch. Maybe it's being underused or overused. But yes, in most cases, it is validation, what your eyes tell you. I mean, you see his breaking ball right there. It's easy to say, wow, that's a good breaking ball. But then you look at the spin rate on Ryan Presley's breaking ball. It's it's over 3,000. I mean, that's well above average. He's among the top 2 or 3 in all of baseball in that spin rate in the curveball. It is validation.
Just because we like chocolate so much, what do you think Sandy Koufax's curveball spin rate was?
Yeah, it's probably right up there over 3,000. But again, I think it helps even at scouting. I know at the area code games they use a lot of TrackMan in terms of identifying the quality, the metrics of a pitch.
Ramirez off the end of the bat to right field will drop in front of Kepler for a leadoff single. Tonight we've got 3 big games on Fox. Most of the country will see the Cubs take on the Mets. For others, it's the Red Sox and the Astros. That's a really good game, as well as the Dodgers and the Rockies. It all starts at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Fox. Check your local listings for the game in your area.
I'll give you an example, Justin. A guy like Jose Quintana, the Cubs. I had a game with him last week. He did a very low spin 4-seam fastball. That pitch gets hit. And I think that it's not going to get hit. It's below average velocity. It's below average spin rate. To me, that's more of a complimentary pitch. And the old school would have been establish your fastball. To me, he's better off throwing more 2-seamers than 4-seamers.
Encarnacion grounded into that 5-4-3 inning-ending double play in the 5th, which pumped up Lance Lynn so much that he came out for the 6th and got through 6 innings. It's 7-1 Minnesota leading here, and not to get off topic, but if this game holds, who would have thought that the winning pitcher would be Lance Lynn and not Trevor Bauer?
That's a great point.
Trevor Bauer went
struck out
11 batters in 5 2/3 innings. Looked like he was cruising. Gave up 7 runs, only 3 earned. Conversely, you had Lynn, who was just laboring. I mean, sweating through 3 innings. And he ended up going 6, just 2 hits, 1 run, 5 walks, a hit batter, 4 strikeouts. It's weird how sometimes the game works.
6 free base runners. 1 of them scored.
1 ball, 2 strikes here to Encarnacion. Pop foul. Back this way.
But I'll go back to what I said about Lance Lynn defending the home run ball. 4 straight starts now. And we know there's more runs scored percentage-wise via the home run in today's game than ever before. So when you watch a Major League Baseball game, really it's this simple. The team that hits the most home runs generally is going to win.
Foul tipped. Stays alive to Encarnacion. So let me pose this question to you. 11 strikeouts for Trevor Bauer. With all the strikeouts that are happening in baseball, every year we set records for the most strikeouts in a single season. When you see a pitcher strike out 10, 12, 13, do you kind of factor in saying it's not as impressive as it once was because players don't value putting the ball in play as much as it once was appreciated or valued?
Yes, I do. I think you have to, because the numbers, and you look, game in the 60s, 70s, especially 80s even, compared to today, the strikeout rate is just so much higher. It's a different kind of game, so it's not apples to apples. And just to go all Sandy Koufax on you again.
No, please do. I know my dad listening is loving that.
The average relief pitcher in the big leagues I'm not talking about the Chapmans and the Kimbrels of the world. The average relief pitcher in today's game strikes out batters at the same rate that Sandy Koufax did. So it's a different game.
Hard hit ball through the hole on the left side for Encarnacion. Back-to-back singles by Ramirez and Encarnacion to open up the 8th inning here for Cleveland.
First baseman Yonder Alonso.
Out to the mound goes Mitch Garver.
Indians are saying we're not done yet. It's one of those high spinning breaking balls left up in the zone. Good hitter takes advantage of it. He's such a good hitter, isn't he? I mean, talk about strikeouts. There's a guy with tremendous power who's really good at getting the barrel on the baseball, not having so many empty at bats.
Alonso looking for his first hit. Swings over that pitch. 0-1.
Yonder's one of these guys in the launch angle revolution. Worked for him, changed his swing to get the ball airborne more. And I get it. He was at the point in his career he was really stalled out in development. A corner infield player without much power. There's not a place in the game for that kind of player anymore.
Throw back down to second base. Back in safely is Jose Ramirez.
And I talked to Yonder about what it took to change his swing, because we all think, well, just swing up on the ball, right? Hit the ball in the air. He told me it was so much work. I mean, talking to hours every day throughout the course of the offseason. He said, I felt bad because I didn't see my family much at all in the offseason. They got off to that great start last year with Oakland. And cashed in on free agency this year with Cleveland.
I think what's most impressive about all these guys who changed their swings, whether it's Yonder Alonso, J.D. Martinez, Aaron Judge, Josh Donaldson, it's one thing to try it during the offseason. It's a whole nother issue to implement it when you're facing guys who are throwing 98 miles per hour and then a 91 mile per hour slider. To trust it.
Totally agree with you. It's extremely hard to do. That's why we hear those guys you mentioned. Those are the success stories. We don't hear about all the guys who try it and it doesn't work. This is that high spin breaking ball I've been talking to you about. Power breaking ball. You know, Hunter Pence is trying to do that right now. He's been at Sacramento in AAA, changing his swing. Hunter Pence been around the big leagues a long time, but he feels like in today's game he hits too many ground balls.
Does that mean he would have to change his Hunter Pence video for teaching kids how to play baseball too? One of the great skits ever done by a Major League Baseball player.
Hunter's one of those guys. He's entertaining, even when he doesn't mean to entertain. Fun guy to watch.
Good pitch right there. No balls and 2 strikes here to Greg Allen. Allen has the only run of the game for the Indians. Part of a double steal back in the 2nd inning. He has walked and flown out twice. Once was robbed of extra bases on a great catch by Kepler out there and right. And now he fouls this one off his instep. Stays 0-2. Well, for those of you tuning in for NHRA qualifying from Chicago, it is available on FS2 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. We are here on the top of the 8th inning. Justin Kutcher alongside Tom Berducci at Target Field in Minneapolis. 7-1 Twins leading the Indians. And Allen goes down looking at strike 3. Didn't like the call. Back-to-back strikeouts here by Ryan Presley. 2 away.
I thought Garver did a nice job presenting this ball right on the edge of the zone, but watch his fingers get around the baseball, and that is really literally framing it. It's a nice job. He keeps getting better and better back there behind the plate receiving the ball.
2 outs now for Kipnis. He's 1 for 3, singled, stole a base, and a couple of groundouts. First pitch breaking ball misses for ball 1.
Spin rate. Yeah, that's one of his lower ones, but that's on the fastball there at 26. The slider and the curveball will be up there around 3,000 and above.
A one-hopper back to Presley, underhand flip to first, and that will do it for the Indians here in the 8th. It's 7-1 as we go to the bottom of the 8th.
Get to the 8th inning, and another pitcher out of the Cleveland bullpen.
The new pitcher is going to be Evan Marshall for the Indians. Marshall, the right-hander, appearing now in his 9th game. 5 2/3, 7 strikeouts, 4 walks. He'll face the bottom third of the order in Garver, Adrianza, and Lamar.
Like Otero, relies on contact. The sinker is his best pitch. Wants to get the ball on the ground.
Well, that ball was on the ground. You said something before, though, about this Cleveland bullpen, how they don't have the power arms that they've had maybe in the past.
Well, I'm talking about a real strikeout power slider. You know, that fastball slider combo. That's a good fastball right there for Marshall. You know, Nick Goody had that kind of swing and miss stuff. He's on the 60-day DL. You know, Cody Allen's your closer, certainly with his fastball curveball combination, a swing and miss guy. Miller on the DL.
One is fouled back.
But the bullpens have become so much not just getting outs, but keeping the ball out of play. You know, that's been the effect of the combination of all the relief pitching in the game today, the velocity, and the strikeouts in the game. I mean, listen, it gets back to Andrew Miller, right? He's such a weapon. The problem is he's had a history of issues with that knee on his landing leg. And they've got to figure out a way first to get him healthy, and second to make sure that that's not sort of a mental block in his head. We were talking to Terry Francona about that the ability to land on that leg, trust it so that you can finish the pitch and not try to get the weight off the leg as soon as you land, which will lead to not finishing your pitch. He's got to get over that hurdle.
And they have to make sure it's not a recurring issue. It's already been an issue long enough for him.
Well, I think it's something that's going to be an issue. It's a matter of how you manage it. And I use the example talking to Tito about CC Sabathia. His knee is not going to be as good as it was when he was 25. He's got the use of a brace, and once he used that brace, even psychologically, it's given him more confidence that the knee is going to be stable. And talking to Terry, they've talked about maybe it's the way we tape the knee for Andrew Miller, maybe it's a brace. Whatever it is, he first has to get fully healthy, and then the confidence that you can go ahead and land on that knee and everything's going to be fine.
Obviously, Andrew Miller is such a key for this Indians team, for the bullpen, for the team in its entirety. 3-2, inside out to right field. Allen able to reach up and make the catch. Couple of nice plays by a couple of right fielders here this afternoon at Target Field.
What a recovery by Allen. That ball was scalded and with some slicing action on it. Watch him recover and reach back. Wow.
You can almost see him when he got up was, I don't know if he was relieved or angry.
I think he was relieved. And that ball was out there in a hurry.
First pitch to Adrianza is down low for ball one. The way that ball came back on and took off. You mentioned how he has gotten extended playing time when Bradley Zimmer was on the DL. Now playing even with Bradley Zimmer back.
Well, don't forget they have Lonnie Chisenhall and Brandon Geyer making their way back. You've got Melky Cabrera here. You've got Rajai Davis. I'm telling you, this kid is making himself valuable to the Cleveland Indians. There's going to be a roster crunch sometime soon in the outfield for Cleveland.
Fouled away here. Speaking of roster crunches, what was your take when the Red Sox activated Dustin Pedroia and designated for assignment Hanley Ramirez with all that money still left on his contract?
Yeah, it was a little bit surprising. I thought the angle was overplayed, that Ramirez had an option based on plate appearances this year that the Red Sox were avoiding. This was a baseball decision. I'm not saying they weren't aware of it. Of course they were, but he had really struggled, especially against velocity. He was getting beat with fastballs.
Adrianza, a little flare out to left field coming in as Brantley able to make the catch for out number 2. Well, streaks were made to be broken. Make history and win $5.6 million. Download Beat the Streak today in the App Store or on MLB.com/BTS and start your streak.
So the surprising part was that the manager was the one who came up with the idea.
The rookie manager, Alex Cora.
Alex Cora. President Dave Dombrowski was prepared to do something else to create room with Pedroia coming off the DL. Blake Swihart, who they like, out of options. They didn't want to lose him. But Alex Cora said, hey, I've got an idea. How about we get rid of Hanley Ramirez? Yeah, that spoke volumes to me about how much sway Alex Cora has in that organization and how bold he is.
Where do you think Hanley ends up as the count's now 1-1 to Ryan Lamar?
Yeah, listen, I think he's an American League player at this point, 100%. You know, maybe a team like the White Sox takes a flyer on him and hopes that they can re-establish his value and flip him for something at the trading deadline. But there's not a lot of fits for someone limited defensively in today's game who hasn't been hitting.
2 balls and 1 strike to Ryan Lamar. Saw a shot of Tyler Duffy in the bullpen for the Twins. 1 run, 5 hits, 2 errors for the Indians. 7 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the Twins. And a big swing and a miss there by Lamar. Lamar had the RBI single back in the 6th.
That swing right there is a launch angle swing. That's the swing you're seeing more of today, where guys will drop that back shoulder. I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, to try to generate lift, and that makes you susceptible to anything with velocity belt and above.
And he swings and misses at the high heater at 95 to end the 8th. So we go to the 9th. The Twins trying to close it out, leading 7-1. Brian Dozier, he had an RBI double. He also had an RBI triple. Eddie Rosario, the 2-run homer back in the 3rd. That 2-run homer, that was the difference at the moment. And now it's 7-1 and a new pitcher into the ball game for the Twins. It's Tyler Duffy, who has appeared in just 4 games, 7 1/3 innings. And he will face Roberto. Actually, he'll face Melky Cabrera. Cabrera will pinch hit here for Perez. Melky Cabrera up the middle, playing it perfectly was Adrianza. And there's one away. Time now for today's dynamic play of the game, presented by Hankook Tires. And can you make a guess at what this will be? Max Kepler. What a play.
That was a beauty. A couple of steps from the wall. The catch. And then hanging on after banging against the wall. Great play.
He got the ovation from everybody on that one. One away now for Zimmer. And Zimmer takes the first pitch, breaking ball, first strike. So the Twins had entered this series having won 5 in a row. They won the first game of this series. They lost last night. And now here they are losing this afternoon 7-1. Last night's game, the Twins won 7-4. The Indians took the opener 9-8 after they had a big lead. The Twins came all the way back. Zimmer singles up the middle, his second hit of the game. And Lindor hit a home run. That was the difference in the ball game. But the finale of this series will be tomorrow afternoon. Kyle Gibson against Mike Clevenger. And Again, Tom Verducci had mentioned it, the importance for the Minnesota Twins to win these series against the Cleveland Indians. You're chasing the Indians. You can't rely on the other teams in your division to do the job when the division is struggling like it is, rebuilding. Lindor lifts one to right field. Kepler is back at the wall, reaches up, it's off the wall. Backing him up is Lamar, and into second base with a double is Francisco Lindor.
Now both Lamar and Kepler went down. Kepler because he hit the wall. Lamar looked like he slipped while backing up the play. Yeah, the wall's falling apart out there.
You can see Lamar is hobbling.
He thought he had this line up, but this ball just kept carrying and drifting.
You know what? That wall, that corner got in his way. Otherwise, he may have gotten to it. The padding right there blocked him. But he at least replaced his divot.
Coming over from center field right after this throw. You see, hits the deck.
Second and third, one out. Brantley takes the pitch down low. 20th double already this season for Francisco Lindor, who's now 2 for 5 on the day. Ripped to first, gloved by Morrison. Can't hit it any harder. Two outs.
Well, Brantley had a 19-game hitting streak coming into this series. Nothing has gone his way in Minneapolis, including this rocket. 101 miles an hour off the bat and right into the glove.
We've talked so much about the Indians and their offense as Jose Ramirez takes the pitch down low from Tyler Duffy. But the Twins, these Minnesota Twins, have now scored at least 7 runs in 5 of their last 6 games.
Yeah, I think they've played a good series here. I like the quality of their at bats, and I'm saying that on a night where they struck out 15 times. Credit to Bauer's breaking stuff. It's hard to win a game when you strike out 15 times. In fact, the Twins have only had 5 games in their history. Talking about 9 innings or less. Punched out 15 times, and you got a W.
You're winning by 6. Up and into Ramirez. He spins out of the way. 2 balls and 1 strike.
You've got to do that from time to time with Jose. We talked about how he likes to stand right on top of the plate, handles velocity so well. Doesn't bother him though. You know, some hitters, you move their feet, it bothers them. There's no effect on Jose Ramirez.
Breaking ball swung on a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Now the Indians are down to their final strike, and the fans here at Target Field will get on their feet to make some noise. On a day when they weren't sure if they were going to actually see some baseball. Two is pulled foul. Lance Lynn went 6 innings for the Twins. A season high 113 pitches, most by a Twins starter this year. Trevor Bauer struck out 11 in 5 2/3. 2-2 again, staying alive, and this one got the catcher Garver. He's down.
Yeah, you saw the way umpire Vic Carapazza reacted immediately upon Garver getting hit with this foul ball. Right off the knee. Ouch. Yeah, I get it. There's padding there, but that's full force right on the patella.
You know, it's remarkable what catchers go through throughout the course of the season that people, you see this and you say, that's got to hurt. I beg you to shake a catcher's hand at the end of the season, their glove hand, as he's now getting an ovation, because their hand is swollen the entire year from catching. It's unreal.
It is. And if you look at their throwing hand, it's usually the fingers pointing in all different directions.
Because it's getting hit by foul tips and whatnot.
Physical grind to that position. Always been tough, but I think even the mental grind now is tougher than ever because of all the information in the game. Good to see a smile on his face.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 men on here on the top of the 9th inning. Tyler Duffy trying to finish this one off against Jose Ramirez. Another foul ball by Ramirez.
I think you called it, Justin. Lance Lynn, the story of this game. A lot like the weather today. Very shaky early on and then turned blue skies for Minnesota.
Another 2-2. And we'll go full. The Twins trying to move to 24-30. The Indians would fall to 30-27 on the season. The payoff pitch in the air, center field. Lamar on the run, still on the run, makes the catch, and that will end the game. Not a bad way to end it if you're Lamar and the Twins. A 7-1 victory. They've taken 2 of 3 against the first place Indians in a chance to win the series tomorrow when they've got Kyle Gibson going against Mike Clevenger. Our final score, Minnesota 7, Cleveland 1. Our baseball coverage continues tonight on Fox. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Coming up next right here on FS1, it's bonus coverage of the Cubs and the Mets. For Tom Verducci and our entire crew, I'm Justin Kutcher saying so long.